Hi everyone, my name is Steve Harris, and I'm currently halfway through my junior year at ASU. Outside of school, I work as a regional sales manager for a disposable apparel manufacturing company, and I manage 11 Western US states and 4 Canadian provinces. Needless to say, I travel quite a bit. Once our COVID season began, it was clear I wasn't going to be traveling anytime soon. I decided to head back to school of July in 2020 with a mission to complete my degree. Ultimately, COVID was the catalyst that got me back to school after a 20+ year hiatus. After completing my associate's degree at the end of 2021, I transferred to ASU full time. Now I'm on track to graduate next summer with a degree in organizational leadership, and I have a goal to graduate with summa cum laude honors. At least through this point, I'm on track to do so. Thanks to technology, my degree has been completely online, with the exception of some in person tutoring at times on campus, as I live in Chandler, Arizona. While maintaining a healthy work, academic, life balance can be challenging and require some sacrifice at times, I've been able to manage the load thus far. Some of the strategies I've employed are to prioritize and record all of the professional and academic tasks on my Outlook calendar. Effective time and calendar management is essential to excel in my professional life, and this carries over into my academic responsibilities as well. The most important components are to stay disciplined, focused, and commit to staying on task. And when contingencies come up, and they will, commit to getting back on track as quickly as possible. For me, I work remotely and I have a flexible work schedule. I generally spend 3 to 4 hours per day, usually after hours with my coursework during the week, and usually 4 to 6 hours over the weekend as well. Since I travel frequently, I'm able to utilize some of that downtime in the air for school as well. So I live by my Outlook calendar. I have to, and I must account for my personal and professional commitments in order to effectively manage my time. Some of the best advice I have to offer others who succeed is pretty simple, but it's to have a plan. In order to build a house, you need to have blueprints. You just can't show up and with a cement truck and pour a foundation, right? Establish a calendar and commit to it. Don't procrastinate and take ownership of your responsibilities. If you get stuck on an assignment, don't be afraid to ask for help. Know that you're not alone. Reach out to your professor, to the ASU Tutoring Center. We have several resources that are at our disposal, especially online. So for this course, I'm the project manager. The project is this course, and the client in this case, of course, is Dr. Chandler. My primary role is to manage the successful completion of all tasks and subtasks in accordance to the quality criteria outlined within the rubrics for each product required for the project. All of the products or deliverables in a real world environment required in the project will be listed within the project's plan. Products are actual tangible things that are listed as part of the agreement between the client and the project manager. Tasks and subtasks are listed in order to facilitate the completion of each product of the project. Tasks represent the actions necessary to complete the product, and a component of a task that can be started and completed on its own is known as a subtask. So what do I want and what do I not want out of my experience with this course? So prior to taking this course, the competencies that I've learned from project management have been through mentorships, countless hours of internal company training, and in some cases through intuition, really. So what I'm looking for is to improve my project management acumen, learning some new best practices and techniques in order to become a more effective project manager, and learning from other peers in my class who have more formal professional project management experience than I do, which includes Dr. Chandler, of course. Also, I'm looking for constructive, honest, and straightforward feedback on areas where I may be able to improve, because it's the only way I can sharpen the sword. My hope is that I'm able to apply what I've learned in either the current role I have now or in preparation for a future leadership role. What I don't want is any sort of opportunity of procrastination to creep in, causing a deficiency in my ability to learn the material since I'm having to cram in my work. So a project is a temporary effort that has a specific start and end date to create specific products. Now, while I haven't technically held the title of project manager, over the years I've been involved in several types of projects that during my professional career. So some of the existing competencies and experiences that I have in project management include being detail oriented, proficient communication and organizational skills, effective use of diplomacy. I have experience in process mapping, strategic planning, of course, and most importantly, the ability to influence others, even when I may not have the authority to do so. So prior to my current role, I worked in an account management capacity for a large international distributor of industrial supplies. And as part of that role, I managed several large multi-site clients across the Pacific Northwest. One particular project stands out as it was rather complex and it had several stakeholders involved in the process. The project encompassed the installation of new vendor managed inventory systems across 8 management locations in Oregon and Southwest Washington. In this case, the client was Waste Management, and more specifically, the head of the project was the regional operations director. So our first step after the contracts were signed was to coordinate a project planning meeting. And at this meeting, we needed to create a project plan with the client, of course, and establish the quality criteria for each of the deliverables on the project. Some of those included deliverables for the SKU rationalization project and what those goals were, cross-referencing deliverables, and making sure that we were giving them like for like items, and that was being validated. At that meeting, we had to identify and plan for the risks and the contingencies, accounting for personnel changes, supplier back order situations, unplanned waste management, corporate initiatives that may interrupt the project timeline. We had pushback at the site level and that resistance to change. And so that led into creating a change management plan as well. So we had to leverage, and I had to leverage specifically the executive sponsorship of this project and meet with the project stakeholders, which often included each location's facility manager and the guys that were ultimately impacted by this project, to answer any questions that they may have had, to get their buy-in, of course, and to lead them through the change management curve. So after the initial project planning and launch meeting, I scheduled weekly calls to discuss the progress and if there were any barriers on having the tasks being completed and related subtasks being completed, and getting everybody in the same room per se, so we can discuss what that looked like. And that also, of course, built in accountability, not only for waste management, but also for my team as well, that we are executing against our initiatives. And in the background, while this was going on, I was also coordinating all of the logistics and internal resources to facilitate the cross-referencing tasks and the installation of all of these new systems. So after several meetings, conference calls, countless man hours needed for the on-site conversions, the overall result was a successful completion of the project that was both on time and with very minimal disruption to their business. Most importantly, the client was now enjoying considerable cost savings and efficiency gains since they now had their parts and supply inventory being managed by their supplier partner instead of their own staff. So in all, it was a great experience that tested my ability to manage the deliverables on the project while meeting the client's expectations for the project's completion date. So with all of that, if anyone has any questions or would like to discuss my experience on this project or maybe any others, please let me know. I'd be happy to talk with you on that. But until then, I'd like to wish all of you the best on your academic and project management journeys, and look forward to our paths crossing soon. So we'll see you.